Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my god, stop your fucking lying.
What up, what up, what up? It's your favorite shit-talking squirrel, back for another Darrell video. So we're gonna do part 2 of the lies video. There's a bunch of them to look at. I think it should be a good time. This dude lies a lot. I had a huge list that I needed to finish, so I figured this would be fun. The last part did really well. You guys seem to enjoy it, so, we'll take a look at some of these and laugh at dumb Darrell. Okay? So without further ado, let's just jump on into it, shall we? Let's get this.
So,
but I know how I've been dealing with her for all these years.
Yeah.
I know.
What brought you to Waukesha yesterday? How did you get out here?
I was meeting up with a friend to watch the Packer game.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
Did you come into contact with Darrell Brooks on the afternoon of November 21st, 2021?
Yes,
Where did you first come into contact with Mr. Brooks?
at Frame Park.
And how did that come about? What were you doing and why did he get there?
We were messaging and calling each other all day. We were arguing back and forth. He came out there. Well, I told him I was with Miss Corey, and he came out there. I told him where I was. When Darrell was on his way, Corey and Nick had left, so I sat there and waited for him. We were still arguing on the phone, but I waited for him.
And you were in Frame Park?
Yes.
Okay. How did Darrell arrive? That is, he didn't walk to Waukesha.
He drove in his mother's car. It was the red, was it a Ford, I believe?
Why the fuck you lying?
Okay.
That's the only reason why I was out here.
Where did you go to watch the game?
To a friend named Stephanie.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
Why you always lying?
A house, a bar, or...
A house.
Yeah, I don't mean to make you uncomfortable or anything, but what's the address there? What street
I
is it on?
have no idea about Waukesha. To your knowledge, did the alleged defendant know anything about the city of Waukesha?
Yes.
I don't know the streets.
What was
I
it
don't
near? I know you had to see something near it.
know.
So what was it near?
Like a gas station?
Have you been to the house before?
No.
Never before?
No.
What's Stephanie's last name?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
When did you guys set this up?
Maybe a couple of days ago.
Okay.
Like I said, I have a few friends.
I was so tempted to drop one of the lie detector clips in here. And he has friends. This man has no friends. Can you imagine being friends with Darrell Brooks? Oh, God. What a nightmare.
I have a few friends in Milwaukee that have people out here, so
Okay.
it's not, I don't, like I said last night, I don't know the streets in Waukesha. And what did the alleged defendant know about Waukesha?
He told me, Mr. Brooks told me that his first child's mother lives in Waukesha.
Oh my god, stop your fucking lying.
It's not where I usually hang out at, so I couldn't say, well, this street, and this, I couldn't.
All right.
Stephanie, like a friend of yours or like a friend of a friend?
A friend of a friend, mutual friend.
And what did you
She's
say her
just
last
like-
name was?
I have no idea.
How long have you known her?
That was my first time meeting her. So,
How did you get the number to know the house to go to?
a friend.
So how did you get to her house?
My friend. I went with my friend.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
Waukesha Police, it's Greg, this an emergency?
I think the incident that happened with the red SUV is my truck. My son stole my truck. I didn't even know he had it.
Okay, I need to put you on hold.
Okay, who's that?
My friend, I don't really want to say his name. I don't know if that's going to incriminate him in anything. So.
Okay, so let's go with this. How did you come? I know you saw Erica yesterday in Waukesha because we talked to her. Now, I don't know everything that went on, and I'm not saying I believe everything she told the other officers. How did you come to meet with her in Waukesha, one? And two, you say you don't know Waukesha, but where did you meet her? A gas station, a park? I know you met her. Where did you meet her? What happened yesterday?
Yeah,
So
it
Because if this is BS, like you say, and I know you met her, what happened?
I
So
met
what
her
happened when you met her? Where did you meet her? Let's start with that.
by a gas station.
The lie detector test determined that was a lie.
Ms. Runkle, can you tell us what was happening in that last portion of the video we just watched?
Well, before Erica, me, and Nick showed up in the camera, that's when I ran after Erica from getting ran over, and then she tried to jump in the car with him, and then I ended up chesting up to him, and then we ended up going at it.
Okay. And what happened after the physical confrontation with Mr. Brooks?
Nick pulled me away,
And then what happened?
and then Brooks walked off
Did you see where he went?
into his car.
The red SUV in the video we
Yeah.
just watched? Was there anybody else in the SUV at that point that you saw?
No.
And what happened next?
After that, it was like he headed out.
Okay. Did Mr. Brooks say anything to you or Erica or Nick as he was leaving?
He told Erica that he was gonna find her and he was gonna kill her.
Why the fuck you lying?
Okay.
I don't know what I was supposed to be getting some money from her.
Okay. For what?
It was the rest of my money that she had of mine that she was holding for me.
The lie detector test determined Ralph.
That was a lie.
He was arguing with me about money because I did not bail him out.
Why you always lying?
Okay, how much?
It was supposed to be $350.
Okay. And why did she have it? Why was she holding
Well,
it?
she had been holding it for me for a few weeks now, but like I said, I hadn't seen her.
Right,
my
but
mom
what was she
already-
holding? Why did she have it? Why was she holding it for you?
She was just holding it for me because I told her to hold it for me.
Ugh, that is so gross. She holding it because I told her to, that's why. Here's the fucking one time he actually didn't say axe. I asked her to hold it. And the one time he didn't say axe was the one time he fucking should have. She hold all my stuff because I tell her to. My wallet, my clothes. She hold my beer if I'm drinking. Shit, she carry me if my little baby-sized feet get tired from walking. Now I know you might be thinking, officer, why would you give it to your girlfriend when, 1, she's multiple towns away, and 2, she has an active GPO against me, and we're not supposed to see each other? But if she doesn't have my money, how else am I supposed to control her, detective?
But it didn't have anything to do with, this was weeks ago. She had been holding the money. And because I had no contact with her, I couldn't tell her, and my mom wasn't going to let her come to the house to bring it.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her, look, man, if I'm going to be out there, I'll meet up with you and get the money, but I'm not hanging out with you. I'm not having sex with you. And she was just like, oh, you want to kill? I'm like, I'm not finna do none of that.
Oh my god, that is so lame. Ugh, we know this isn't true, too, because fucking Erica testifies later that they were fighting all day, so why would Erica be asking her to come over there and fuck her? Like, what is he showing off for the detectives here? What a douche. I'm gonna get sex with you, I'm gonna give you a hug and kiss, and I'm out. Fucking loser.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not supposed to be around you. I get that. I understand that. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I'm not supposed to be around you. I love you to death, man. You're my baby mama. I'm not going to, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't supposed to be like a hangout thing. I told her, I'm like, I'm out here. And she's like, oh, where you at? Where you at? Where you at? And I'm like, look, I'll meet up with you to get the money and, you know, give you a hug or whatever. But she was like, well, I need some. I'm like, no, we can't do all that. I'm not going to have sex with you. I'm not going to hang out with you or none of that.
All right.
Oh my god, that is so cringe. Him purporting this narrative that she was just dying to see him and, like, found out he just happened to be in Waukesha and starts pestering him to come over and fuck her. Big Pimpin' Darrell, the ladies' man, they just can't get enough. What makes this even sadder is Erica was the one trying to get away. This man hunted her down and harassed her. The reality is he was the desperate one. She was moving on with her life and it drove him fucking nuts. And now he's sitting here putting on the sack that she just couldn't get enough and, like, according to him, was borderline stalking him. She's, calling his friends and posting on social media. What a small, pathetic, tiny, sad little man.
So you told her you weren't going to do any of that stuff.
No.
How did you set the meeting up? Did you talk to her on the phone, Facebook Messenger, text message?
I talked to her.
I don't think she said anything about that. So just, if she's BS, how did you
Yeah, because
meeting with her?
This is what she does.
Hold on one second. Hold on, one thing at a time. How did you set the meeting with her? How do I verify?
That's what I'm saying. If she can't get in touch with me, that's what she'll do. She'll go to social medias and do all this and try to talk to people and all this and that. I got in contact with her through a mutual friend that we both know. And I was like, okay, tell her I'm out in Waukesha or whatever, and I'll meet up with her to get the money. And then she put us on the call.
The lie detector test determined that was a lie.
You stated that you were engaging in a conversation with the alleged defendant via the telephone. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Texts, phone calls?
Yes.
Oh my God, stop your fucking lying.
And she was just like, where you at?
Three-way call?
Yeah. And she was just like, where you at? I'm like, look, I don't know where I'm at. Do you still got that money? She's like, yeah, I want to give you the money and I want to do this and do that. I'm like, no, I'm not finna hang out with you. I'm gonna meet up with you, get the money, give you a hug and kiss. We'll talk later.
Was it still daylight?
It was still daylight. It was still daylight.
So
after the fact.
This was, I think the game was still on.
Game was on. So
the game was still on.
Left Stephanie's to go.
Yep. Okay. The game was still on. So I was like, fuck it. You know what I mean? I want to see you. I ain't seen you in like a month. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to lie and say, man, that's my baby mama. I love this woman. But I can't hang out with you. I can't do anything with you, that type of thing, deal, and whatever the case may be. But, yeah, that.
And this is on your cell phone? The three-way call, obviously, is your cell phone because you're not on the phone, right?
My friend's phone.
Friend's phone.
Yeah.
But yesterday, so do you have your phone?
No. That's what I'm saying. No.
So who is the friend whose phone you were using to talk to her on a three-way call?
I don't want to say his name because I don't want to.
Okay, I guess, so you saw her though, right? You met up with her. Okay. So how did the conversation with her end?
With me walking off and her being pissed off that I didn't want to hang out with her. I said, look, I'm not supposed to be around you. I'm gone.
Lie detector determined that was a lie.
He told Erica that he was gonna find her and he's gonna kill her.
Okay.
When she
Whose
said,
car did you use to get out
she
here?
said I didn't have a car.
No, the lie detector test determined that was a lie.
My son stole my truck.
No, whose car did you use to get to Waukesha?
My friend is the one that said he was gonna go hang out and watch the Packer game. I said I'm gonna go with.
Okay. Whose car did you use to get out to Waukesha?
I didn't use anybody's car.
Where does your friend live?
My friend lives in Milwaukee.
So you didn't walk to Waukesha. Whose car
No.
did you guys use?
My
to get
friend.
out?
I just said my
What
friend.
type of car does he have? I'm just trying to figure out how you got here.
Yeah, I know, but it seemed like you trying to spin me up or something. Like
I'm just asking how you got here. Whose car did you drive out here?
I didn't drive at all.
Whose car did you come out here in?
My friend.
Okay, right. What kind of car is it? So here's the thing, Darrell.
Okay.
obviously, you know, she's coming at us. I told her she's talking about some domestic related issues, okay? You know, and I don't know if she's on BS.
Man, I know he's just trying to get a confession out of this guy, but I like verbally cringe every time I hear the detective saying like, "Oh, I know she's lying," or "I know she's on this BS." It's just, it like verbally, it physically makes me cringe up. Am I the only one? Let me know in the comments. I find that extremely hard to watch.
I don't know if she's not.
I'm telling you.
Hold on, let me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish. I don't want you to get...
Yeah, because
Hold on, let me finish.
Did anybody else notice that when he interrupts the detective and the detective tells him to stop or, you know, says, "Let me finish," that Darrell actually listens, unlike when the judge does it, because he's a man and she's a woman? Am I the only one that noticed that?
You know, I don't entirely know all that, okay? I'm just right now trying to figure out how you got out here. So I got to step out with my partner for a minute. Just relax. I want you to get you all nervous, okay? But, you know, I'm not trying to be confrontational, but I don't think when you meet her out in Waukesha and you're not from Waukesha, I think a reasonable question is to ask, how did you get out here?
Yeah.
Whether you drove, someone else drove, and if so, when you got out here, what type of car you were in. So just every hour or so, my boss, he knows we're out here. I just got to call him and say, "Yeah, we're talking. I'll call you back later." Just got to step out, throw in a line with him, and we'll come back. Just chill out here, enjoy your soda. We'll be right back. All right? Sound good?
So we done talking or?
No,
No,
we'll
we'll come back and
just
talk to
chill
you.
out, and we'll be back.
We just gotta make that
back
call.
in that, so I just got to make that call.
That check-in call.
All right?
In the middle of the conversation?
It's so funny to me that Darrell thinks he can just, like, talk his way out of this. Put yourself in his shoes for a moment. You have run over dozens of people, your car breaks down, you huff it on foot, and then less than an hour later you get picked up by the cops. There is no chance in hell I would think I'm getting arrested for anything than those fucking murders I just committed. That much would be very apparent to me. He had the key in his pocket! Does he think that they didn't find his car all smashed to fucking smithereens? And then the first thing they did was put that key in the ignition? I mean, the FBI was at the hospital with them last night. He honestly believes the feds are just down there working on local cases for fun? Like, they don't have better things to do? The audacity of this man. God damn. To sit up there and drill on and on about these domestic charges in the midst of all that. I imagine it's just like a survival mechanism at this point. Like, he wants so hard to believe that they don't know it was him driving the car. He's forcing that into his reality. And he's still lying about it, by the way. He's still lying about the domestic charges. Like, talk about fucking greedy. Just going for broke. Jesus. Alright, we're going to jump ahead a little bit, but before we do that, I wanted to look at one particularly funny part I noticed from the interrogation, so let's watch that quick.
Oh my God. They came in there and was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "No."
Yeah, you married, Darrell?
No.
No? Okay.
Supposedly supposed to be.
What's your phone number again?
414.
Mm-hmm.
339 5677.
Well, what's the 610 number you gave me last night?
That is my direct number.
What's your direct number?
Oh, my direct number. The other number is my house phone. Don't bother calling it, though, because my house is actually that Ford Escape you found mangled to bits. Oh, my direct number. What a fucking goofball. Oh, this is why it's always better to tell the truth, ladies and gentlemen. He clearly lied about his phone number the first time, and had to come up with this BS on the fly. That's the best he could come up with. My direct number. Can't believe they didn't call him on that. Oh, it's so idiotic. My direct number. Here's my office phone for the sheet metal plant I don't work at anymore. Here's the number to my vacation home. It's a track phone wrapped up in plastic bags in a dumpster out in Muskego.
What's your direct number?
610-2153. Sorry.
610-2153.
2153.
2153. That's your direct.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You're not married. What's your girlfriend's name?
Erica Patterson.
And she's your baby mama?
Yes.
How many total kids do you have?
I have 3.
3 kids?
Yes.
And you were born, was it Milwaukee?
Detroit.
Detroit?
Yes.
So born in Detroit, live in Milwaukee.
Yes, sir.
Last grade you completed, what was that again?
12th.
And are you working right now?
No, not currently.
How long have you been out of work?
Let's see, when did I get locked up from Milwaukee? Just a few months.
Anything to do with the pandemic? That's been hitting
Yeah,
hard.
that's the reason why, yeah.
Didn't he just ask himself, when did I get locked up? I don't think it was because of the pandemic. I think it was because he got locked up. I mean, he tried to run over Erica. There's no way he was just in lockup for a couple of days. He had to have lost his job because of that. Yeah. And, you know, quite frankly, this dude argues about fucking everything. There's no way he could hold on to a job for more than a few weeks. He argues about his fucking name. No way. I call bullshit. Fuck it. I'm counting it.
It made me smooth off.
Okay.
I got stuff lined up though, so.
Yeah, what?
I'm probably gonna go back. I was working at a sheet metal place,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm probably gonna go back there.
Okay.
That was ideal.
They do like a stamping or?
We do. I guess they like steam and paint the metal pieces and then like ship them out like car metal parts, machinery parts, like car frames.
Oh, okay.
All different types. All I really do is just a lot of heavy lifting because they have the trucks come in, you unload the trucks, and then we just hang the metal pieces on the little machine thing that comes around. They take them. The pieces go through like this little steamer type machine thing, and then they paint it, and then they come back around, and we just take them off the hook and just put them in the box, load them up, put them back on the truck. It was 4 on, 3 off, so that was more ideal because
that's a great schedule.
I mostly have my children the back half of the week.
With a lie detector test determined that was a lie.
Not only does the defendant not live with the child in question, he doesn't live with any of the other children that he has.
Sure. But since all this, I've been having them every day. So it's like.
How old are your kids?
My son is grown. My oldest daughter is 14, and my youngest daughter is 7.
You said your oldest son's grown. How old is he?
He's 18.
They all live with you then in Milwaukee?
Well, my son doesn't.
Your son doesn't?
My son doesn't. But.
Okay.
Alright, that pretty much does it for the interrogation. Let's jump ahead, shall we?
Information that you should have been privy to, that you weren't allowed to be privy to. Why? I don't know. That information, malfunctioning throttle bodies.
Mr. Brooks, move on.
It's information that you should have been privy to. Vehicles that malfunction and accelerate not being able to be stopped.
The lie detector test determined that was a lie.
Consistent with our research, there are no active recalls listed for the Ford Escape. As Trooper Inspector Schultz noted during his testimony, that Ford listed an extended warranty for the throttle body on the Escape. The warranty was extended to 10 years of age and 150,000 miles. The Escape is more than 10 years old and has more than 150,000 miles. Also, he noted specifically in his report that he did not note any defect in the throttle body as previously described in this report. There was no recall in the throttle body. NHTSA did do an investigation into allegedly defective Ford throttle bodies, which would have impacted this year. Basically, the electronic throttle body failures would have resulted in engine stall or surge while entering traffic from a stop position or while driving at highway speeds. neither of which I believe occurred here. Further, Inspector Schultz would testify that that does not prevent the brake from working. So if this had been activated on this car, which it was not, but if it had been, and this defendant would have pushed down on the brake, it would have stopped the car. Further, if this was a problem, there would have been the malfunction indicator lamp or the wrench light would have been illuminated, as Trooper Schultz or Inspector Schultz testified when he started the vehicle and checked the indicator lights. None of them were lit. Further, if there was this, he would have observed material buildup on the commutator. There was no such buildup observed. There were no problems with the throttle, electronic throttle body. That was part of his report. Therefore, this is, although there may have been some cars who had this problem, the car that the defendant was driving on this day did not have that problem. That was testified during the vehicle inspection. The defendant had the opportunity to cross-examine Inspector Schultz with regard to that. And again, in running the defendant's mom's VIN number through NHTSA, National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration, there are, for this particular VIN number, for this car that the defendant was driving, 0 unrepaired recalls. So it's a mood issue.
I don't believe it's a mood issue. And I actually have, the report should be in the mailroom as we speak. I had everything sent over priority mail, the actual information about the class action lawsuit, the actual information about the recalls for those models, like I said, 2008 through 2010. Now, in all fairness, Your Honor, that's why I was asking for a Brady claim.
So, just for some context quickly, a Brady claim is essentially a motion to dismiss based on the prosecution hiding evidence that may have been exculpatory or would prove Darrell's innocence. This is actually a pretty advanced legal argument. I was kind of shocked the first time I saw this, and I honestly had to look it up myself. The problem is he fucks it up within like the first 30 seconds by admitting, 1, the information came directly from his mom, and 2, was readily available. I was just going to show the state's rebuttal to the recall here, but I found the rest of this fascinating. Let's watch as Darrell throws a temper tantrum over the state's well-founded and clearly superior argument, refuting his motion to dismiss.
On this, seeing this how when vehicles are purchased from the manufacturer, they're still sold as is. There would be no way to know that there's anything malfunctioning with the vehicle until it actually happens.
Yeah, see? He fucking debunked his own argument when he presented this evidence in the first place. If the car was sold as is, you just told us your mother gave you this information, so that means nothing. And furthermore, you also said this information was readily available. So if the information is readily available, how is the state hiding it from you?
And seeing this a class action lawsuit, no one would sue the Ford company if there weren't malfunctioning vehicles. There would be no class action lawsuit if these vehicles were not malfunctioning. And I believe with that, like I said, the information is easily obtainable.
Exactly! You just said vehicles are sold as is, so there's no way you could have known. And then 2 seconds later said, this information was readily available. Do you not hear yourself?
I should have the information in the mailroom right now that you can readily view this information about the class action lawsuit, about the recall. It wasn't just the 2010 model in question, it was 2008 through 2010. The information about the malfunctioning pertains strictly to the throttle body.
Let me address your claim, sir. So, not trying to cut you off, I don't need the specifics about a class action, because as it relates to this case, the fact that there's a class action would not mean there's a Brady violation by the state. In fact, you even indicate it was readily known and something you were able to find out. I'd further note that you had a full and fair opportunity to cross-examine the inspector regarding his mechanical inspection. It's not new information, and more importantly, as it relates to this particular vehicle, based upon the testimony of Inspector Schultz, it's speculative as to whether this vehicle would be impacted, number one, by the class action, and number two, any throttle body problems. Because, again, there was a full inspection. That report was provided to you. He testified on direct examination about there being no active recalls, and more importantly, he testified about what impact the throttle body would have and what he would expect to see if there were any issues with it. I am aware that the ICF, I did receive an email, it's one page with what you said. I have to turn my head, I gotta figure out how to flip it. So give me a second.
Okay. Just for the record, Your Honor.
Hold on, let me finish my record, okay? So I'm gonna turn, because it's the only way I can read it. It says, your ICF says the state's expert witness who did the inspection on the vehicle in this incident needs to be recalled no later than Wednesday. I just learned of some information that is extremely vital. I understand the information that you're providing me, but again, you had a full and fair opportunity to cross-examine this witness. This information was apparently well known. I'd also note the vehicle's registered to your mother, and from my understanding of recalls, I think what is common knowledge is that a registered owner would receive information regarding the recalls and what to do.
I just thought of something. I bet Dawn got one of those phone calls about her extended warranty and went, ding! Can save my baby! Oh, do you guys get those calls? I used to. They used to drive me fucking nuts. Extended warranty calls. She had never been happier to get a phone call about her extended warranty.
And presumably she would have provided that information to anyone operating that vehicle or taking care of it. We have none of that information before us by way of fact or even an offer of proof that even she received that information and did nothing with it, or whether anyone else who operated that did anything with it or not. The bottom line is there is absolutely no Brady violation by the state. This is not the type of information they would have been required to turn over. And from my understanding and review of Exhibit 83, what's important to this case is that the mechanical inspection specifically looked at that issue nonetheless and found that as to this particular vehicle, there were no issues with that would have impacted the mechanical function during the incident in question. I'll accept the state's offer of proof as to what would have been the issues based upon the information provided. And again, without anything further from you by way of your offer of proof, I can't make a finding, number one, that there's a Brady violation, and number two, that the information you seek to cross-examine him on would have any impact whatsoever. So I'll deny the request to dismiss the case. I'll deny the request to recall this witness. Hold on. Let me have the state just make their statement. I'll give you the last word on it. Go ahead.
The Inspector Schultz's mechanical inspection report was provided to the defense on April 29, 2022. I noted that when the defendant was cross-examining Inspector Schultz, He did have the report in front of him and was asking questions directly related to information contained in that report.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Brooks.
When you spoke to the owner of the vehicle, that's who gave me the information. My mother gave me the information.
Yeah, guy. That's the point. How is there a Brady violation? How is the state hiding things if you just admitted your mom gave it to you? What?
Of this, I had no knowledge until she told me, and that's how I came into the information. And she was the one that said, "I'm going to send you all the information that you need, so you can present it to the court." So I didn't.
I understand that, sir, but your request
information.
is not timely. So you have had this information for quite some time, either through counsel.
I did not have it for quite some time.
Let me make my record. Either through counsel.
It was just told to me.
Guy, you already admitted it was readily available. Sorry. You didn't find it. That's your own fucking fault. Plus, it was in your discovery. Like, what the fuck? What are you doing here?
That's not what I'm saying. You've had the information about this report for quite some time, either through prior counsel or through all of the discovery that was turned over to you when you took over your representation of your own case. The fact that you have now learned this, it's a little bit too late. And I understand that may seem fair to you, but even when I consider the information that you're providing to me, it's speculative on your part as to whether there's any impact on this particular vehicle because of the inspection that was done. And you had a full and fair opportunity to cross-examine the inspector about information that was readily obtainable and researchable by you prior to the time that you cross-examined this witness.
It was not readily available for me to expect at the time. I don't have access to the internet.
What? Then how did you turn it in with your ICF? What the fuck are you talking about?
Yes, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
So how would I be able to...
Mr. Brooks, you're telling me your mother had that information.
No,
so,
I'm
and
telling
I'm
you
trust...
she just told me this information. I have the phone calls to prove it.
I understand that. I'm denying the request, sir.
And I would like a...
So that's my decision.
I object to that, Your Honor.
I understand.
I
I've made my
object to that.
decision. I expect that you respect the decision, at least
No.
as we're not going to debate it further.
Yes.
This has been another iconic Darrell Brooks moment. This iconic Darrell Brooks moment is brought to you by
Crazy pills!
I now have the
It needs to
ICF,
it
the
needs to
one
be
from the state
addressed,
to be
Your
provided
Honor.
to the state.
It
Madam
needs to
Clerk,
be
I just gave
addressed.
that to you. All right, so
I
Mr. Brooks, in
respectfully
light of
object.
that,
I respectfully object, Your Honor, and request the legal reconsideration of your ruling, Your Honor.
it's denied. Request for reconsideration is denied. There's no legal basis for me to do
I
that at this point.
respectfully reject that ruling and take exception to that ruling, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Brooks, we need to keep going.
For the record, may I request a legal or factual basis for your ruling, Your Honor?
I provided an oral ruling today. The record stands, sir.
For the record, may I respectfully request a written judicial finding of facts and conclusion of law on this issue?
Your request is denied.
For the record, may I respectfully move for an interlocutory declaratory appeal of this matter?
I wouldn't be the one you would make that request to, sir. So
For the record, may I
answer that
move
yes
to
or
stay
no.
these proceedings until the instant matter is adjudicated by a court of competent jurisdiction?
That request is denied.
Based on what law or fact, Your Honor?
The request is denied.
Based on what law or fact, Your Honor?
Any other requests, sir? I'd like to move on.
Based on what law?
There's no
or
legal
fact?
basis that you've stated for me to do that, sir.
It has been, Your Honor.
The request is denied. The request is not a proper motion. There's no legal support for the motion. There's no factual support for the motion, so it's denied.
For the record, it appears that this court is acting in contempt of the law, Your Honor. Can you show me how or where this court is following the law of respecting this matter?
Can you stop tapping your fucking pen? Or your your fucking half a pen, because they won't give you a full one?
That's a very vague statement, sir. There's no legal relief that you're claiming. There's no motion before the court based in law or fact. So this court cannot address that last statement of yours.
Your Honor, with all due respect, I would like a motion for finding of fact.
Denied.
Under what law and fact?
I made an oral ruling, sir. There's no requirement I do so in writing.
So you're denying a legal, you're denying a motion for finding of fact.
I am.
So how do I know what you're doing is legal, Your Honor?
Maybe because she's a judge and you're a murderer? So it's her opinion we're going to be going with.
All right, Mr. Brooks, we're going to move forward. At this time, I want to...
how do I know that this is legal, Your Honor? Can you show me that it's legal?
Mr. Brooks, we're moving forward. So your request is denied.
It doesn't seem like
Mr. Brooks, I need to give you some advice.
It doesn't seem like you're... I don't need your advice.
She said advisements, and her advice, if she were allowed to give it, you desperately need, my friend. If you are capable or willing to take it, which you are not. This gangster act is so pathetic. Advice is for pussies.
No, I have to give you advisements, sir, regarding your right to testify.
I need to do your job without prejudice and without bias.
Mr. Brooks has now interrupted me multiple times. He's failing to respect the court's oral rulings here today. It's something that he's done repeatedly throughout this trial. Mr. Brooks, I need to go through some advisements. Unless you have a witness to immediately call, I need to go through this particular discussion on the record with you regarding your right to testify. Do you have a witness to call, sir?
You don't need to go through anything with me on record.
Actually, I do so, sir.
That is...
Oh, I can't take any more of this. This guy is such an asshole. Let's jump ahead to the other half of the 50-minute rant we started in the first part. So we're going to pick up right where we left off. Darrell's in the middle of his little 50-minute rant. Like I said the first time, this thing is a whirlwind of lies, so hold on to your seats.
In this county, you yourself, Your Honor, stated that you at one time worked with the father of one of the people that was injured in this matter. That is a clear conflict of interest right there. You also stated for the record that not only did you work with this father, but that at one time they may have donated to your, I don't know if it was to you becoming a judge or I would have to look through the docket, but you said it on the record that they donated money to a cause of yours. You also stated that when you had gained knowledge of the incident and that their family member was injured in the incident, that you reached out via phone. I don't recall if it was text message or an actual phone conversation, but you put that on the record. You also stated that the nature of your relationship was strictly professional. I don't know about you, Your Honor, but I've worked numerous jobs and I know what professional relationships is and personal relationships. I've never had the cell phone number of anyone that was a personal relationship saved to my phone that I can reach out immediately when I learn something. That would constitute a personal relationship of some kind. Whether hanging out from time to time, having a cup of coffee, or hanging out time from time, grabbing a beer, or hanging out from time to time, watching a game, or anything of that nature.
This has been another iconic Darrell Brooks moment. This iconic Darrell Brooks moment is brought to you by Wather's Original. Whether you're hanging out from time to time grabbing a coffee, hanging out from time to time grabbing a beer, or hanging out from time to time watching the game, or anything of that nature, do it with Wather's. We want to be in your mouth. Sorry, I hate to stop so soon, but I just love that moment. It's another Darrell Brooks iconic moment. Wather, hanging out from time to time, grabbing a beer, hanging out from time to time, being an asshole, or hanging out from time to time, hitting your girlfriend or hanging out from time to time, going down to the school that I'm not allowed to be in front of because I'm a sex offender and recording a music video. It's fucking such a goof. I notice he does this a lot too. The fucking, like, he'll just throw out tons of non-descriptors for no reason, just like multiple descriptions of the same thing. Goof, dude.
It would definitely be more than just strictly professional. That was stated for the record. Again, I go back to the Sixth Amendment again. In terms of when I asked for the motion for the evidence motion that I raised, that was denied without any explanation. That would be strictly to place in the evidence any unrevealed contract. That's under the Sixth Amendment. Clearly, there's been repeated violations of my Sixth Amendment. We all know that the United States Constitution is the law of the land, period. It trumps everything. We also know that any law repugnant of the Constitution is null and void. We know that. There's still no basis for the motions being shot down. Why was I not granted the motion for finding a fact? Why did it take so long for me to be brought my entire motion for discovery? Why was the motion to prove jurisdiction not verified? Why was the motion to dismiss the case for all the reasons I said not being granted? Which brings me to the motion to subpoena witnesses. I did everything that was asked of me by the court pertaining to those subpoenas. It was understood by the court that this is my first time ever having to do this. I didn't understand how to properly fill out the subpoenas, at which the prosecution volunteered that they would give assistance. The only assistance I received was for them to check to see if it was filled out right. That was it. That doesn't amount to any assistance. I was still left to fill it out on my own, and then when I did that, corrections still had to be made, which would verify what I was saying.
You just contradicted yourself. You're complaining the state isn't helping you, but then immediately afterwards just admitted they had to help you because they weren't filled out right. They're also executing all of those subpoenas by calling everybody and coordinating them coming to and fro the courthouse, which you then go on to basically spit in their face by doing so. By arguing for days about giving the witnesses a reasonable time frame because you don't want to give them the order. Like, what the fuck do you expect? That just because you're pro se, they're gonna fill out the subpoenas for you? You want them to fucking ask the questions too? Why not just fucking try the whole case? Oh yeah, because the state already was doing that. It's called the Public Defender's Office, and you fired them! Now we have the audacity to complain nobody's helping you? That's the deal, dude! You're your own attorney! You need to file your own fucking paperwork! You're lucky they're assisting you at all. God damn, you give this guy an inch and he just, like, demands a mile.
I don't know how to do this. But I still complied to what the court asked of me. And even then, it was a big old thing about the subpoenas. I can't subpoena the plaintiff in the case. Well, how can I not subpoena the plaintiff in the case when under the Sixth Amendment, I have the right to face my accuser, which is the plaintiff of the case? So how could the subpoena not be filed? And how could the plaintiff not be called to the witness stand? begs the question of, does the plaintiff even exist? Which it was stated for the record that not only by a witness, a detective, Detective Casey, that got on the stand and said on the record that it is an entity, which is not a living, breathing human being. And then it was stated again by you on the record, Your Honor, that the plaintiff is an entity. So the question still stands. How can an entity bring a claim if it's not a living human being? So where's the claim? Will the plaintiff in this matter, the state of Wisconsin, be allowed to testify? Will they be allowed to be in the courtroom?
Don't tempt me, Darrell. Don't tempt me.
No, they will not, because they don't exist. Therefore, the claim doesn't exist. For all those reasons that I just stated, the case should have been dismissed a long time ago. Once those issues were raised, this case should have been dismissed. And at the very minimum, it should have been dismissed because those still have yet to be proven. We're still talking about jurisdiction.
There is no we here, sir. You're the only one bringing up subject matter jurisdiction. And it's refuted and shut down every time. But you still continue to bring it up. It's just you. You're the only one. And you're wrong.
That's been being asked for over a week. There's still no providing of license to practice law yet. Not even by you, Your Honor. Why was I not provided with a certified copy of your oath of office? Why would you not state the name that is on file with the Secretary of the State? Or I made reference the first time to the Secretary of the Treasury, and then you stated on the record that it's the Secretary of State, even though you knew what I was referring to when I asked. You referred to your name tag, but that's not the name registered. We both know that. So why wasn't that proof verified? You gave me a copy of your oath of office, but it is not certified. So how can I verify that that is the true oath of office that you signed? How can I verify that it's valid? That's the reason why I asked for it to be certified, which you stated for the record you will not do that. You never stated any legal reason why. I have the right to ask for that legally. I also have the right to call any witnesses to assist my defense, which is the main reason why I subpoenaed the plaintiff in this matter. I also have the right to challenge all relevant laws in this trial in terms of their intent, interpretation, fairness, enforcement, and whether they serve and protect the people. From my knowledge.
I mean, the knowledge you obtained from the whole 3 days you've been a practicing attorney?
The design of the statutes of the law was written for the common people to understand.
If that were true, why would it take 4 years of accredited Ivy League school to pass the bar exam and actually practice? And even then, they still need a judge because they constantly argue over what the law means. God, you were so stupid!
So that would mean the final determination or interpretation of what the law says comes down to the people. You know this, Your Honor. Are you or are you not a public servant?
The mic picked up an audible loud sigh from the judge. It's awesome that we were able to hear that.
You also know that this docket sheet is inaccurate. Every filing up until the point that I started representing myself was filed in a name that was represented by all capital letters, which is not my name.
That's not my name.
Nor has it ever been my name. Nor have
That's not my name.
Seen that name or individual.
That's not my name.
Every single filing or paperwork was all in capital letters.
Why?
Ever since September 29th, roughly around there, now everything starts to go to lowercase letters. Why is that?
Why?
What prompted the sudden change?
Why?
I still have filings that have all capital letters.
Why?
Which I state every time I come into your courtroom, Your Honor, that is not my name.
That's not my name.
Or agree to being called that name.
That's not my name.
I'm merely here as a third-party intervener on behalf of my client.
Stop it. Get some help.
Did I accept for value in return for value? We go through this every time I come here.
We go through this every day. I'm sick of saying it. Like, they're the crazy ones. You're the one bringing it up. What a fucking lunatic. We go through this every day. You're the fucking Looney Tune who's reciting the same script and not listening to anyone. You march in here every day purporting to be an attorney representing an imaginary client when there's footage and documents already admitted stating otherwise. You're the annoying one. And furthermore, the judge even gives you the opportunity to go by something else. She's that gracious, and fucking crickets. You gave them nothing. Ugh, the insanity never ends. This man is frustrated. He has to state 10 times a day he doesn't get sent to being called by that name, and yet offers no alternatives otherwise. This is truly like psychobabble at its finest. He may as well be spouting off about voices in his head and fucking CIA cover-ups. It's just as maddening.
Every time. You bring up Illinois versus Allen when we had the issue of me being removed from the courtroom. We went through that where Illinois versus Allen states that there are 3 options when a defendant is being disruptive in court. You stated for the record that you identified a 4th one, which is not cited anywhere in that case. It's not cited anywhere. So the question would be, how did you come up with a 4th option that's not written in that case? Did you take it upon yourself to add this 4th option to justify denying me my constitutional right by being present? You could have done the 3 that were stated. Any one of the 3 you could have done that were stated in the case. Nowhere does it say you can create a fourth option. Not upholding my constitutional rights. I'm sure you know about Title 18, USCS 2381, which states that it's treason not to uphold your oath of office. Treason.
That is just a fucking dirtbag below the belt. Ugh, that is fucking super disrespectful. She should have fucking held him in contempt right here. She should have shut this the fuck down. He's essentially attacking the court. It's not even about how Jennifer Darrow feels as a person at this point. She has the respect of the courtroom to uphold. Why is she letting him say this? I can't believe that she just let this go unchallenged. He should have been... He just said it. Per fucking Illinois versus Allen, she's got 3 opportunities. Bind and gag him. God damn. Hold him in contempt. Like, so what? He's being contemptuous. Nobody would have batted an eye at her fucking throwing him in jail for a night for saying that. This is a fucked up thing to say. God. Oh, it makes me so fucking angry hearing this.
You repeatedly make judicial determinations that clearly prejudice my defense. And then when I question you about are you making judicial determinations, I'm repeatedly shut down.
Shut it down!
Which leads to today. The constant push not to have an informed jury. Not giving legal valid grounds on objections. Not noting objections for the record to make sure that the record is clear. I'm sure somewhere in the jury instructions, you informed them that the state of Wisconsin was bringing the claim. But then you make the judicial determination that I'm not allowed to ask questions about the plaintiff. That's clear bias. And it prejudices my defense. You know also that you have an electronic filing system. I find it hard to believe that I was told yesterday about my subpoena for the plaintiff that I had to wait for a filing in a timestamp when I've seen it done numerous times in just a few seconds right in front of my face. When the prosecution needs something filed, it's filed immediately. I have to wait, or I have to wait till the next day. That's a clear bias and a clear prejudice to my defense. Obviously, the court knows that I'm not privileged to the same filing system. Which brings me to the reason why I brought up the issue of assistance of counsel. Under the Sixth Amendment, I have the right to assistance of counsel.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
He has no constitutional right to stand by counsel, none whatsoever. The court patiently went through the form and advised him of many of the things he's complaining about here today. The resources of the state, the knowledge of the law, his ignorance of the law. And his words to this court, and I quote to the best of my ability, it don't make me flinch one bit.
Why the fuck you lying?
It doesn't say anything about representing yourself without assistance of counsel. Having counsel represent you and having assistance of counsel is two totally different things. You, Your Honor, gave me paperwork that was a waiver of counsel. We both know that any contract can be altered if I don't agree to certain terms. I crossed out everything in that paperwork that I did not agree or consent to, and specifically wrote on that paperwork that I do not waive my right to assistance of counsel.
You have no right to assistance of counsel. If you think you can just write in whatever you want, why didn't you fucking write in for a double cheeseburger or a large pepperoni? No, better yet, why didn't you write in for fucking dismissal of the charges? Or fucking get out of jail free? You think you can just fucking put whatever you want on a piece of paper and the judge is just gonna make it so? Oh my god, this fucking guy!
At the very least, I should have been awarded a standby counsel. Not someone to represent me, to speak for me, but someone to help me do things in a timely fashion. Get things filed in a timely fashion. Get motions together in a timely fashion.
Oh my god, he wants an assistant now! No, he's saying it's not fair that he doesn't have one! A fucking practicing attorney, no less, who's passed the bar! This guy's head just gets bigger and bigger. He really thinks the world is just owed to him. This is his planet, and we're just living on it. He needs a little helper lawyer, not to provide him sound legal advice or, assist him with his case. No. But to file his motions and do his paperwork. Get his coffee and fucking fan him at breaks. Rub his feet and get down on all fours so he can put his feet up. Fucking deluded is not even the word to describe this. He genuinely believes he is owed it. It's his right. It's fucking sick.
Make preparations to get things done that I don't have the privilege to do in my current situation of being housed at the Waukesha County Jail. I gave you back that paperwork and you accepted the paperwork that I altered.
Gotcha. I tricked you. Now you have to give me a lawyer. Sorry. Thanks for playing. I win.
That you understood that I didn't agree and consent to those things that were altered. You accepted it and you filed it. That is in the record. I have copies of the same paperwork that you accepted. So when you accepted that, with no objection, that becomes a tacit agreement. But yet, I'm still forced to come in here with zero help. I think it's clear that prejudiced my defense. Knowing that the prosecution has everything that they need for this matter at their fingertips. And I have to jump through every hoop possible to even get things filed in a timely fashion. It was stated for the record that the unit that I'm housed in the Waukesha County Jail, and per Jail Administrator Angela Wallenhoff, that I'm only allowed out of my cell for a few hours a day. So I'm roughly locked down 22 hours a day, not given the privilege to access everything that I should be able to at the time that I should be if I was general population.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
He is not denied access to legal materials in the jail. The record is very clear from the jail administrator. It should not be confused. He misleads this court intentionally to say, I only get out of my cell 2 hours a day. That is a fact. That is for his own safety, so that other inmates do not inflict physical harm upon him. He has access to a tablet. He has access to a computer. Whether he chooses to ask for those resources is up to him.
Why you always lying?
Arrangements could have been made months ago for me to be, at least in some form, general population with an upcoming trial. Reference was made to being able to use LexisNexis or whatever it's called. We call it the law library. That may be the easier way to describe it. I'm only allowed to access the law library at certain times during the day. The rule of the jail is that when you're not in the day room, you can't access the law library, which is on tablets. We are not allowed to have those tablets in our cells. That prejudiced my defense. How can I work on my case? How can I look up certain case laws? How can I do any of this if I don't have full access to it? I even suggested some type of order that could be made by the court to allow me more time out of my cell, or to talk to jail administration about allowing me more time out of my cell to be able to use those when needed. And to be frank, in a proceeding of this magnitude, there should not be even a time where I don't have access to the materials that I need. If I'm not in the courtroom or sleeping, I should be awarded the time to work on this case, seeing as how I only had a couple days to prepare for a trial of this magnitude.
The lie detector test determined that was a lie.
Man, yeah, right, man. Come on.
I want to address this claim that he only had 3 days to prepare for trial. It's absolutely a false statement. The record should reflect that he does have 3 banker's boxes on his table. The record should reflect that every time the state calls a witness to the stand, he swiftly and easily turns to those boxes, which appear to be alphabetized or organized in some fashion by the public defenders who turned it over to him, and quickly removes the folder of the witness who's testifying and effectively cross-examines that witness using notes from the public defender. We know that because he's tried to confront witnesses with the notes from the public defender. He is not going into this blind or with one arm tied behind his back. They did all the homework, and he's simply sitting here reading their notes, reading their cross-examination questions, and asking the questions, and then going on to his ridiculous questions having to do with his belief in the sovereign citizen movement. There's no way this record would reflect that this defendant is not adequately prepared for trial.
Oh my God, stop your fucking lying.
Which brings me back again to the change of venue again. Even right now with trial going on, there's still political ads being shown every day that reference this incident.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
I received a call that my granddaughter had been hit. She suffered a serious brain injury and nearly died. The driver should have been in jail. Mandela Barnes supports no cash bail that puts criminals like Darrell Brooks back on the streets. He's more worried about criminals than victims. Mandela Barnes doesn't have the judgment to keep our communities safe.
Senate Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Oh my god, is that ad fucking dirty politics. I hope she doesn't hurt her arm with that reach. Jesus. Talking about fucking mislabeling somebody, that poor guy. He had nothing to do with Brooks. Anyways, that's probably gonna do it for this one, guys. Brooks just goes on to like ramble for like another 10-15 minutes, so you are not missing anything. This has been fun. I love doing the lies. If you guys think of any that I missed, please leave them down in the comments. If you have any thoughts whatsoever, drop me a comment. I always do the best I can to, if not reply, at least, like your comments so you know I read it. I read all of them. Responding is getting a little difficult, but at any rate, if you would like to talk to me directly, I have all my contact info on the About page. I have super chats now. If you'd like to make a contribution, anything really helps. Definitely not required to do that, obviously. The fact that you've watched the video this far, I can't say thank you enough. So, with that, I will bid you adieu. Have a good day. Please like and subscribe if you're not already. Okay? All the YouTube stuff is done. We'll catch you in the next video.